Hey, what's up, everybody? So, my name is Christian, uh, Christian Lawrence. If you guys don't know me, I have a very small YouTube channel. I don't really have too many followers. This is actually an old channel of mine that I just made back active again, and I'm really kind of feeling nostalgic. When I got this account back active, I actually realized that after making it active again, I had so many videos on my channel that were from back when I was 17, 18, 19 years old, and I'm almost 30 years old now. So going back and looking at all those videos I made from when I was 17, 18 years old, it really just struck me, and I was obviously now we're like we're 2 days away from 2020. It's going to be a new decade, and times have changed in so many years, and a lot of things with social media and a lot of things with dating and just education and money. So many things have changed, guys, and I'm usually at the kind of, yeah, I mean, again, this is a very small YouTube channel. I highly doubt this will ever be seen by more than probably 5 or 6 people. So but it's just something that I felt like doing, and this really spurred the moment. What I really want to just reach out to the younger audience, people that are still in high school, or maybe even a freshman in college, sophomore in college, maybe first, second, third girlfriend, or your first job. There's just so many things that I look back on when I was 17 years old, and I look now and I'm like, wow, I stressed so much, and I I think back to when I was 17 years old, and it's amazing, right? It's amazing to think about all the time that I invested in, uh, all the time that I invested in girls that had no interest in me, but for some reason I was just overly optimistic that something would work out, and chasing girls for 2, 3, 4, even 5 years, and then in terms of education, just not knowing what I wanted to major in, not knowing the path that I wanted to go down. And, I think my biggest point of this video is, I'm almost 30 years old. I'm 29. I'll be 30 next year. Uh, I was with this girl in high school. I wasn't with her. We never dated. We were just, we were best friends. I was caught in the friend zone. And one of the things that I think back at 17 years old and think of is like, wow, I chased, I was so caught up in what I thought love was. And this girl was like very, very beautiful. She was gorgeous. All the guys loved her, and I was just, I was this random guy. Didn't have a whole lot of friends. Didn't really know a whole lot of people. I mean, people knew me, obviously. I mean, I wasn't like a nobody, but I definitely wasn't someone that I wasn't someone that someone like her would ever have interest in, or at least that's what I know now. Now I look back, and guys, I spent 4 or 5 years chasing the same girl, and it's amazing, And so, I mean, if there's any, when it comes to like the advice, I guess one thing would be, if you guys, if you're 17 years old, 17, 18, 19, even 20, you think that you're in, if you're with someone now, or maybe you've been with someone in previous times, maybe it's recent, maybe it's current, and you think that this person is going to be the person that you end up marrying, this person's going to be the person that you get married to, and you have kids with, and you grow up old together and have a family and grow old together. That's not unreasonable. That's definitely not something that is really far fetched. But just my advice would be to be very careful. At 17, 18, 19 years old, I mean, you guys are, I mean, so young, and like, I mean, if I'm talking to my camera right now and I'm talking to myself at 17 years old, I mean, I'm telling myself right now, hey, look, don't waste your time on people that aren't interested in you. You have way more to offer and way more to give to the world than what they're giving back to you. Don't let someone's beauty, and don't let someone's outside appearance girls that have, long blonde hair and blue eyes, and don't get so caught up. Don't get so caught up in what you think you want, especially at a young age like that. And it's hard. I think back at 17, and I remember getting my heart broken for the very first time. And as much as I try to be, manly, because that was, obviously no guy wants to, show emotion in terms of being weak. But I just remember having my heart broken, and I remember just crying for like 2 or 3 days, behind closed doors. And I used to always tell myself and ask myself, like, wow, like, am I really this bad of a person? Am I really, do I really not have anything to offer someone, or am I not worthy enough to be this good enough to be with someone? And yeah, it broke my heart, guys. And it's funny because I'm very low key these days. I'm almost 30 years old. I make really good money. I'm self-employed. I'm an entrepreneur. I have I'm on my fourth business. I have four businesses that I have. And my goal for 2020 is to actually be or is to actually finally hit the actual millionaire mark. I make a lot of money, but obviously with like expenses and stuff, it's hard to kind of get there. But I'm hoping that my goal for 2020 is that I do hit the actual six zeros in my in my bank account. Um, but and then I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to make this live video, and really just put myself out there and put my emotions out there and really just be real. There's so many people out here making YouTube videos, and you have Instagram influencers that are making influencer posts and posting pictures of themselves, and you have people making YouTube videos that are trying to get rich, that are trying to either sell a product, or boasting and bragging about things that they have. I mean, you guys see me right now. I mean, I don't. I mean, I'm filming this video in a room in my house that has nothing in it other than this big Panthers blanket behind me on my wall, because the sunshine comes in the mornings, and it's like so bright. But yeah, and this is a very unedited raw video. Um, Again, I don't expect someone, if anyone is watching this, that's cool, and I appreciate it. But this is kind of more for me to like record and have on here for years to come. I have a 4-year-old daughter, and I'm currently expecting another one. I'm actually married. I'm married. My next kid is expected to be here in July 2020. And so if anything, this video is just something that I want to make, for maybe for the future for my kids to watch. Um, so yeah, I mean, I would say number one is, when you think that you're in love at a young age, if you're 17, if you're between the ages of 17 and 20, and you think that you're in love, really, really be careful. Be very, very careful. Make sure that you're looking at the right qualities, and you're looking for the right qualities in a person, and not just the actual lust of someone's very good looks. And if you're a guy, and there's a girl that you're just insanely over it, over it. What's the term? Over heels, or whatever the word the saying is. Just be careful. Don't get hurt. And just be true to yourself, and just always know that you're better than what most people are going to show you at 17 years old. At 17 years old, it's very easy to get caught up in life, and get caught up in the actual social aspect of what things that happen to you. You know, uh, it's so easy to get lost in the world of going to parties and making lots of friends and hanging out with people that are considered cool or popular, and making sure that you put yourself in front of if you're a guy, putting yourself in front of the ladies that are just drop dead gorgeous. And you guys just don't know. My dad always told me when I was younger, especially when I was going through hard times at 17, 18 years old, and I was getting I had my heart broken probably like once a month. It was god awful. I mean, it was just ridiculous. And I just remember my dad always told me, thank God for unanswered prayers. And I used to tell my dad, I used to be like, hey, like I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I pray every night, and I'm not like a huge religious person. That when I was 17, I prayed like once in a blue moon, but I found myself actually like praying whenever I wanted a girl to like me, or I wanted someone to think I was like good enough. And I used to just pray and pray and pray and pray. And my dad used to always say, "Son, look, you've been chasing this person for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, now 5 years. Sometimes you gotta step back, son, and you gotta look at the bigger picture and realize that sometimes God doesn't answer all your prayers for a reason. You don't know who your wife and kids are going to be, especially at 17 years old. I mean, you might, highly doubt it. And it's funny because now at almost 30 years old, I am married, and I'm married to someone that I never met or even knew until I was in my mid 20s. And I have a 4 year old daughter, and I'm going to have my second kid in about 6, 7 months. And there's just so much more to life, guys. I mean, especially if you're 17, 18, 19 years old. I mean, you just think about what more to life is there than what you've currently experienced. I mean, yeah, you're in high school and maybe you play football, maybe you're a cheerleader, maybe you're a part of a cool club, or maybe you come from a rich family, or whatever your situation is. Whether you come from the ghetto, and like me, I mean, I grew up in a pretty bad town, and I didn't go to a really great high school, and I was always the kid in class that whenever we had team projects or team assignments, I was always chosen last. Like no one thought I was smart, no one thought I was good enough. I had teachers in high school tell me that I was never going to be good enough to succeed in life, and that just comes with the territory. That comes with being where I was at, and obviously for them now that I don't. I don't wish harm on anybody, but it's just funny because I look back now and I look at all the things people said like that. I look at how people thought of me, and since with me getting ready to hit 30 years old, I graduated high school in the top of my class. I had a 3.8 GPA. I think I was like number 11 out of like 100 and something. It was a pretty small school. And I went on and I got a partial scholarship to go to UNC Charlotte, North Carolina. I graduated in 3.5 years. Graduated early, got my bachelor's, and my bachelor's of science in business administration. Um, I held multiple leadership positions within my university. I went on to work for Walt Disney World. I was on the Disney College program twice, and had success at Disney World. I mean, I've lived in Orlando, Florida. I've lived in Charlotte, North Carolina. I've lived in Detroit, Michigan. I have lived in Phoenix, Arizona. I mean, I have lived all over the country, and your 20s is the absolute prime of your life. Not necessarily like the absolute prime, but your 20s is when things really get started, guys. I mean, don't whatever happens to you between 17 and 20, don't really if it's good and great, I mean, good for you. But like if you're between 17 and 20 years old, and your life right now isn't going the way that it's not going the way that you want it to go, don't get discouraged, and don't ever give up, because just know that you're still very young and you have a long life ahead of you. Your 20s is going to be way better than what you're going through right now, especially if you're going through a rough time or a hard time. I promise you that. If you were to fast forward your life, let's say you're 17 years old, you're 18 years old, and you're watching this right now, and maybe you're one of the people that's like me, that was when I was 17. Maybe you're going through some of the same things that I went through. I promise you, if you come back in 5 years or even 10 years, maybe when you're 29 like me, maybe when you're 29, come back when you're 29, and think about this moment, and think about how things were at 17, and I promise you, the results and the lifestyle that you live at 29 years old will be completely different than the lifestyle that you live now. I guarantee it. Like I can't look into a crystal ball and really tell you that it's 100% going to happen, but I'm like 99% sure that that's going to be the outcome. You may not know who your future wife is. You may not know, who your future husband is. You may not know what your kids are going to look like. But you will get married. You will have kids. You will have a family. You will have a house. You will have an income. You'll have what you've always wanted. Um, just don't ever give up. That's the one biggest piece of advice for the youth that I would give. Um, you know, don't ever give up. Just don't ever give up. Don't ever let anyone around you or anyone that's close to you ever tell you that you can't do something, or that you're not good enough, or that you don't fit in, or that you're not good enough for them. If anyone tells you, especially when you're trying to like date someone or you find someone attractive, don't never ever ever let someone tell you that you're not on their level, or that they're not good enough for you. Because I'm telling you right now, you are good enough, and you're going to be the person 10 years from now that's living a 10 times better life than what they are. Uh, I see it firsthand, guys. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and name drop people from my high school just because I don't, I'm not that kind of person. But like in terms of the girls that I used to talk, that I had huge crushes on and I wanted to be with, I look at what I've done to date at 29 years old, and I look at how much money I've made. I'm going to make probably $15,000 next month from my 4 businesses that I own, which is whatever. But again, you don't see me in a room full of like materialistic things. I'm a very humble person. You don't see my YouTube channel of me walking around fancy places. I don't care. I'm very low key. I have kids to feed, and I have a family to take care of, and that's what I do. Um, but but I say that with the example of, I go back and before this video went live, I was on Facebook, and I was just kind of looking around at some of the people that had those characteristics of people that didn't believe in me, didn't trust in me, that said I wasn't good enough. And it is what it is. And I look at their profiles, and the girls that were drop dead gorgeous, back then, they now they're like, and I don't have anything against oversized females. Everyone's beautiful on the inside now, but just things change. Girls that were valedictorians, girls that were supermodels in high school. I mean, girls that guys would just drool over, that have, and I'm not lying, I'm not making this up, girls that I had crushes on, that they now have 6 kids, and those 6 kids are from like 3 different people, and struggling, it's sad, and a part of me feels bad for them, but then the other part of me just looks at it and says, hey, what goes around comes around, right? It's funny what happens when the table gets turned. I was the one that was being avoided, and I was the one that was being told I wasn't good enough, and they were enjoying their fame at 17, when life doesn't really freaking matter. And so I'm in a point in my life now where when you get into your 20s, and especially your mid and late 20s, when stuff really does begin to matter, and I have it figured out, because I saw past all of the nonsense when I was 18, 19, 20. I learned very fast to not trust people. I learned very fast to believe in myself and to never give up, and to really aspire to achieve great things. And without those characteristics, and without that kind of personality and that mindset, this wouldn't have been, my life that I live now wouldn't have been possible. And so, um, you know, that pretty much like wraps up like what I wanted to say. And again, I mean, I'm gonna probably look back on this video probably, I don't know, maybe like 5, 6, 7 years from now. If I'm sure YouTube's going to be around for a long time. But I want my kids to to watch this video, especially my daughter when she gets old enough. And I just I could have went on my iPhone and just recorded on my iPhone. But YouTube's probably going to be around forever. And so I just wanted to make this video and put it out there and put it on my channel just so I can always refer back to it whenever I need to. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. And so you might see some new videos over the next couple of days, maybe next couple of weeks, touching on certain topics, really just topics, that are relating to the science of being, 17, 18, 19 years old, even 20, high school students and college students. So yeah, so I mean, I appreciate you guys watching. That pretty much wraps it up. It's currently 2 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast my time, so it's way past my bedtime. My kids are gonna wake up and like want breakfast at like freaking 6:30 in the morning. So, but yeah, so I appreciate you guys listening. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I said, I'll probably be throwing up some more videos here soon to really touch on some more topics and to go more in depth over some of the content that I just talked about in this video. So we'll holler at you guys next time. Y'all take care and God bless.